everyone, welcome back to Blue Heart Crochet. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to another craft catch up. On these videos I normally put them up over weekend and I talk about what I've been knitting and crocheting over the past couple of weeks. This is more closer to 4 weeks when I am actually doing this, but that's just because life's been hectic, been a lot going on that I don't really want to go into loads of it, but yeah, just busy life, so I've not really had time to actually sit down and film. If you're new to the channel, because I do have a few new subscribers, my name's Abby. I live in the northwest of the UK. I live with some of my family, and I do have a little bichon frise called Buddy, who does like to make an appearance every now and again. At the moment, he is currently curled up on a cushion, fast asleep, because it is a very hard life being a spoiled dog, and he is spoiled. He's never always been spoiled. He's always had, like, you know, a really lovely life, but since our other dog passed away last year, Buddy is now spoiled rotten, because he just gets very sad. So yeah, we spoil him with lots of love and attention. So yeah, he's passed out on the sofa at the moment, so probably not going to get an appearance from him anytime soon. But yeah, so let's get on to all the knitting and crocheting, which is what you're here for. So I will say I've got mostly knitting this week, just because there's been some projects that are a bit more longer term, some projects that have been so much easier to work on, so that's why they've got done a lot quicker. But anyway, let's carry on with all the stuff. So this first finished object is a very long time whip. I started this in January 2023, but there's a reason why it's took me up until June 2024 to get it finished, and that is because it was part of a cowl. Judy at Which Piece Craft does a cowl for the first like 6 months of the year for the past couple of years. Prior to that, it ran the whole year, but Judy's recently compacted it down to make it fit into the 6 months of the year, first 6 months. So this got started with the cowl last year, and what it was that Judy was found in different places around the world, and we had to pick colours or a project to be inspired by that location. So I did this cowl here where I started using the colours were inspired by different things to do with that location, and it could all be like different things like the flag, or you know, something that was quite famous in the area. So I'm trying to think of one now here. So there was one here, right? So this red and green, that was one of the entries. So we had to pick like 2 colours or 2 projects, whatever. So I did the 2 colours. So these 2 colours, the green and red, were for Lancashire, which is a county here in the UK. So I did the red was the red rose of Lancashire. That's the emblem. And green, because there's a lot of green areas. There's the Lake District, I think. I don't know which county that is in specifically, not sure whether it's Cumbria, but ideally I thought of, you know, the rolling hills. I did a topic when I was doing my A-level history on the Pendle witch trials, and so that sort of inspired me with all the greenery and the Pendle hills around there. So yeah, that's where it was formed. But when I finished the cowl last year, the cowl was still quite short in itself, and I knew it was going to be too close to me on my neck. So I thought, okay, when Judy does the cowl next year, I will continue this project on, and it'll be double the size by the end of that second cowl, and then that should make it a decent size and done. So that's what I did. And the one this year was photographs. So Judy shared photographs she'd taken, and some viewers submitted photographs, and we had to pick from like the colours that were in there and inspired it. And you know what, I absolutely love it. This cowl has turned out absolutely beautiful, and it was so fun to be able to take part in it. Yeah, and just I absolutely loved it. So the paint pan cowl, which is what this pattern is a paid for pattern. Now I did expand it just a tad, because when I actually did the cowl originally, I noticed it was a tiny bit short on my needles. I was going to have to do magic loop, and it was going to be an awkward size to do magic loop on the needles I had. So what I did to make it just that little bit easier, I decided to just add a few repeats in it and just made it a bit longer. But it is really nice. I really like it. I feel like it is a good size to wear. I don't like it where it's too close into my neck, but then I can just sort of push it in tight and stick that sort of in my coat, and it'll keep me quite warm. And I really like it. I think it has come out really well, and I can't wait to wear it. And it's a great way to add a pop of colour into like a sort of darker autumn wintry outfit. Because of all the colours in it, it will go with anything. So I used a 4mm needle for this, and most of the yarn was scrap yarn, just like little bits of balls that I had. But the main colour is Stylecraft Special DK in the colourway Graphite. So I'll link the pattern down below, and I'll also link Judy's channel. Go and check her out. She's an absolutely fabulous creator, knits and crochets, and does a lot of makes for that she sells for fundraising for charity, which so incredibly kind of her. So my second and final finished object is these are the Rose City rollers. I believe the pattern is now discontinued, but to be honest, I don't really use the pattern anymore. I just sort of used it as inspiration, shall we say, because it's a cuff down pattern. I do a toe up pattern. I do a toe up. I believe it uses a heel flapping gusset. I use a shadow wrap heel, and all it is it's just got the rolled cuff on the end, and I just really like it. I think the rolled cuff is really great when I'm wearing something like some my trainers or like things like that, where I don't want loads of the sock showing because it may not go with the outfit or anything like that. This is in the Regia cotton sock yarn, and this is the colourway Dragon Fruit. They have a collection that is inspired by fruit colours. I did kiwi ones recently. These were supposed to be made for Amanda at Little Lycac's knit along called If You're Socksy and You Know It, where we're all doing socks throughout the year. I'm picking my socks randomly out of a bag. Some people have wrapped them up and things like that, and you have to complete the socks within 2 months, which I did. I started these on the 22nd of June and I actually finished them, I'd probably say around the 12th of July. So I did finish them in that time frame. It was because I had a lot of hospital appointments, and these were so easy to have in my bag and be able to take with me. And it was because, like, obviously nervous with the appointments and things like that, so I was quite fidgety, so that helped me sort of go a bit quicker on them, because that anxiety was just sort of like, it was all going into that, you know, sort of thing, keeping my hands busy. I use a 2.5mm needle on these, I forgot to mention. But yeah, so that's why they got done so quickly, but I couldn't find them. So what actually happened was I'd left them in my mum's car. My mum had come to the appointments with me, and when I got out the car, they must have fell out my bag, in the bag they were in, and that project bag was like at the bottom of my mum. It was in my mum's car, and it was literally when my sister came over yesterday, she's like, oh, by the way, there's a bag of knitted socks in the back of the car. So she passed them over to me. So yeah, I didn't get to photograph them or put them up in time to enter them into the cal, but that doesn't matter. It's more that taking part, getting them done, rather than having to make sure that they're on the grip. So yeah, I really love them, love the colourway. Yeah, and I think they are really pretty. I just need to photograph them now, take all the stitch markers out, and I can use that for something else. So yeah, that is it for finished objects. Everything else is work in progress. So the first one I'm going to show you again is socks, and this is because, as I said, socks have been just my hospital appointment things when I've been doing things like that, when I've had to be going to the doctors and stuff. This has been the thing that I have been working on, and it's meant I'm getting a lot of work done on them. So I started a second pair of socks, and these are the, I want to say they're called the Rhyolite socks. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. Again, like with everything, any pattern I mention, I'll link in the description box below. Now, these are they're free pattern, and I'm using a 2.5mm hook. They are, I believe there's like a, a yarn festival or something like in America called Ryebeck or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. I've vaguely heard people talking about it, which sort of is how I've known bits. But so I believe these socks are inspired by that. They are a very basic and easy sock to do. They are a 2-row repeat, and honestly, in terms of knitting, if you want a pattern sock, these are probably the easiest pattern sock you can get. But I have been so out of it recently. The amount of times I've had to frock this back is unreal, because I've messed up the pattern on the front. And then the thing is if you know what, if you mess the pattern up and you do two, like, you know, of the same row right next to each other, and you know, it throws the repeat off by one, that's fine. Honestly, looking at the socks, you would not be able to tell. But then in my head, it sort of throws it off when I am counting the stitches and all that, of how many I'm doing and everything. So I'm just, so I have to go back and frog. So yeah, but they've got that bit of detailing, gartering detailing on the front. I am doing a separate heel toe and like a contrasting heel toe and cuff, using the shadow wrap heel, which is what you can see here. The contrast is a Drops Fable, and I believe this is in the colourway pink. And then the main is the King Cole Footsie yarns. I believe, I want to say this is the one with the bamboo, and it's, I want to say colour 17 off the top of my head. Can't remember exactly, but it's quite distinctive. There's no other ones in the colourway like it. So if you went to have a little look, you'd be able to look at the colourways and go, yep, that's the one. Yeah, but it's King Cole Footsie yarns, and as I said, I think it's the one with the bamboo in, but I absolutely love it. So the stripes at first are like really like big, then oops, dropped it there. But then if you have a little look, I want to say have a little look on the back here, so you've got the stripes that are really big here, and then you've got, they go into the smaller stripes. So I've just done a small of the darker blue. So I really like that. It's quite interesting, quite unique. Normally you'll see, like, if they're gonna stripe, it'll be similar thingies, but yeah. And I'm quite actually impressed at how well this pink has matched up to the pink in here, because I don't know if you can tell, but when I started the sock, I did about half a row of the pink in here on the undersock, but you can't really tell it. So it's actually really interesting, and I use it on my little tiny needles, because yeah, I can just go round and round till my heart's content, really, from there. So that's what I've been working on, and they are in a Christmas bag. Don't judge, I know it's not anywhere near Christmas, and I know it's not, I'm not doing a Christmas in July project, but I bought this bag off, I'll actually open it up so you can see the design better. Bought this bag off Jeanette at Crafty Clegs Creations. She does fabulous bags, but I just loved it, the vintage Christmas scene. I just absolutely thought it was gorgeous, and it's not overly Christmas. I'd use this in winter and think it's just like a winter bag, but because I bought it, because Jeanette did some Christmas in July bags and I bought it in July, I was like, it's getting used straight away. No, I'm not putting it away first. It's getting used straight away. So yeah, let's have a bit of progress on it. Well, quite a bit of progress on the socks. The next project is something that you have not seen in a while, and it is my book blanket. That's it, trying to think of it, the words then. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a blanket where each square is made using the colours of the book cover. Last year I had a goal to read 52 books. I did read those 52 books. This year I've got another goal to try and read 52 books, and so far I am on track. So yeah, this was starting with January last year, and here's where I'm at. So I'm doing 20 per row, so I've got 20 in that first row, and as you can see, it's a really good size. And on this bottom row, I'm on 10. The idea that I'm trying to do is to do 5 to 10 squares a month. I'm going to try maybe this month get 10 out because I really just want to make some progress on it. But yeah, I did 5 squares in the month of July. So there's the 5 squares that I did. The little stitch marker there shows the 5 that I have done. This pattern here that I am using is the OK Flower Square by Atties. Now, I love Atties patterns, they're absolutely fabulous. It is a free pattern on the website, but as I was making a whole blanket out the square, I thought, you know what, I'll just purchase the PDF bit as a little, you know, thank you for creating a beautiful pattern, because I'm going to be using it a lot. I said the whole blanket, it's going to be 20 by 20. Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be like 20 by 20. So I thought, you know what, I'll purchase the pattern, I'll be able to keep it in my Google Drive, make it a bit easier, and also, you know, paying towards a pattern, which I like to do when I'm able to. So yeah, I'm really excited with that. I'm using a 4mm hook, and all the yarn that I am using is bits of DK. Some of it is scrap balls, others are, I'm just taking a little bit out of a whole ball, but I absolutely love it, and I'm loving seeing what comes out. And it's quite interesting, there's some of them that I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, I instantly remember what that book was, and that, and yeah, I'm just absolutely loving it. And it's interesting often seeing like how there's quite a few colours close to each other. Like for some reason around here I started reading books with a lot of greens in and oranges, whereas like down here it was a lot of blues and browns, and it's not intentional. Particularly, as I said, around here this was not intentional, because most of these here I read on my Kindle, so my Kindle's in black and white, so I couldn't even see what colours the book covers were. It was just a really cool coincidence that they really went together. So that's what I'm working on there. Again, really love it. I'm doing it in like a little assembly line. So what I'll normally do is I'll do like the centre of the flowers for 5 squares, then I'll do the petals for 5 squares, and then I'll join them in the border for 5 squares. So that's where I'm at with that. Really enjoying it, really loving it. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. The next project I'm making is 3 Halloween amigurumis. So I'll get these out. I'm just going to put one out. There's some headless amigurumis here now. Yeah. So here we are. This is what we've got. So I did a Frankenstein amigurumi like treat bowl from my brother-in-law last year for Halloween, because he loves Halloween. My auntie saw it and asked, could I make 3 for her grandsons? And the designer, made by Mary, does absolutely fabulous patterns. She only did 1 Frankenstein and 1 Halloween style treat bowl. There was a scarecrow as well, and then there was a couple of Christmas ones, but there was only like 1 Halloween one. That was the Frankenstein one I did. So what I did was I then purchased just her doll pattern. I purchased the witch and the vampire, and I've decided that I'm going to convert them into a treat bowl, and I'm going to do another one that again is Frankenstein, but using the pattern for like the witch and the vampire, if that makes sense, because the pattern for the treat bowl was a little bit different. It was a bit bigger, the way it was constructed and all that. So this is the start of the witch, who is actually going to be a wizard. So all of these I was actually just finished the pant sections, because I've again been doing these in assembly line, because the whole base pattern is the same for most of it really. The witch I'm turning into a wizard because I do think that the child receiving it would prefer the wizard rather than a witch. So I'm just altering it to look a bit more like the vampire pattern base. So that's the witch. This is the vampire. As I said, I was up to I'd done the arms, done the legs, and I've done the whole body on that one. And again, with the Frankenstein, done the arms, done the legs, and I've now done the head, the base. So I want to get the heads finished on these two, and I want to try and get half of the accessories that I've got to sew on. So things like hair, hats, capes, bolts for on the neck. I want to get those things done by the time I come to you next in 2 weeks time. That is the goal with it. I really want to get working on these, get these done, and get them looking more like creatures. But the yarns I'm using, so I'll go through them all. So Stylecraft Special DK in black, Jaffa. The skin colour is Hayfield Bonus DK in toy. Body, the white is Stylecraft Special DK in white, and the green for the hands is Stylecraft Special DK in grass green. The grey that I'm using is an old grey that I had in stash. This is it here, and the reason why I've decided to use that grey is because it was a yarn that Home and Bargain used to do before they started regularly putting out like yarn. With Home and Bargains is just like a general all store, like if you like groceries, toiletries, you know, household bits like cleaning supplies and stuff like that. It's that sort of shop. But they started putting in like a couple of balls of yarn, like a few basic colours like black, white, grey, red, green, that sort of stuff. Over the past few years they've started expanding the craft stuff they've got, and they do actually have quite often do really nice colours in their yarn and things like that. But yeah, this was part of that original one, so I wanted to sort of get it used up on something like an amigurumi, because I know I've only got that much there and I wouldn't be able to get more, and I don't want to sort of be going out and trying to get more of this like discontinued yarn. So that's where I've used that from. And yeah, I'm using a 3mm hook to make all of these. So yeah, basically when you go onto this pattern on the site, you'll just see it is just like an amigurumi stood up. I'm just then going to make it a little treat bag to hold. So that's where I've got the inspiration with that. And finally, save the stressful till last. So finally, we have my little stripy jacket that I am making for my little nephew, who is due in, when's he coming? October. Right, did I forget that? Right. I'm just going to get the yarns out here to sort of show you what I've got. Yeah. Yarn balls fell off there. Right, so this is a pattern from King Cole Baby Book 5. Now I find these books, when you purchase them here, the knit ones, they are very, so that's a little stripy jacket there that I'm doing. When you purchase these patterns, I find that these are very, they're traditionally done. Nowadays I think it's sort of weird way to knit. These patterns are done in like a very traditional sense of how things used to be done, not always the clearest, and it's very, very vague in the terms of you have to know a lot around it, and it's always made me nervous doing these types of patterns. I did a rainbow jumper last year for my nieces, but yeah, it's always made me a bit like hesitant to go near the books because of how vague they are and how they assume you know so much. And I'd say like I'm an intermediate knitter. I'm not advanced by any means, but I'd say intermediate. I'm past that beginner stage. I can, you know, switch bits up in patterns and stuff like that. But patterns in these types of books really at times make me feel so stupid because I have no idea what they're talking about. And I thought, you know what, I've not done one in ages. I've learned a lot since then, because you're always learning with your crafting. And I thought, you know what, I'll pick one up again. And because the patterns in this were super cute. The one that got me was this jacket at the back. That was the main reason why I bought this book. And that's the next pattern I'm doing from this book. But yeah, I sort of like, you know, was like, Abby, put your big girl knickers on. You know, you can do this. You've got it. It's just knitting. It's one stitch after another. You know, sort of, I was like, you can do it, you can get to it. So yeah, I did a blanket from there. It didn't go 100% successful. The blanket's beautiful. Did come into issues with it though, where I had to tweak it, but it's a beautiful blanket. I thought, hey ho, that's the way it is. So I did this. Now, when I worked out, when I was looking at the patterns and how much yarn I needed, there were 2 preemie sizes that just said preemie. They didn't have any months, they didn't have any sizes, you know, chest sizes or anything like that. It was just like preemie. I was like, okay. So I did the 0 to 6 months size, and that's what I decided to do. So it said I would need, when it told me how much of the yarn they needed in that ball for each colour. And when I converted it over to the yarn I was going to do, and I converted it over by meterage, so how many meters were in that ball of yarn, how many meters in this, it worked out that I was going to need 2 drops muscat in the beige and 2 in the green. I was a bit sceptical. I thought, this is a bit weird, because it appears that you're going to use a lot more of them. So the white in this photo is going to be the beige, and the stripes are going to be the green. And I thought, there's a lot more of the main colour in there than in the contrast colour. And I thought, what's going to happen is I'm going to end up running out of the main colour. That's what I thought. So I ended up, at a later date, purchasing an extra ball of the main colour, which is this one here, what I did. And I'm glad I did it, because with what I've done so far, I have this much left. This is going to go into joining up and doing the collar. And this is how much I've got left of the second ball. I've actually started going into it. I think there's like 40 grams left out of here, or 50 gram ball, maybe 35, something like that. But either way, I'd definitely have needed that ball of yarn. I definitely needed that extra one, so I'm glad I did that. But what wound me up is it said I needed 2 balls, like I'd have needed the equivalent of getting 2 balls of the green to go into this by what it said you need in there. That's the first ball, and I've done all the green bits, so I've basically bought an extra ball of green that I didn't need to, and I've now got to figure out what I'm going to do with it. So 150 gram ball of green. But I'll show you what I've done so far. So I have done the 2 arms, 2 sleeves. Here we are. Then I have done, now it is all curled on itself, but I've done, that's the right front. When you're looking at the baby, that's the left front. When you're looking at the baby, that's the right front and the back. And I've sewed them in. So what I need to do is I need to do like the collar around the top and that, and I need to like sew up the arms, sew them in, and sew down the sides. So that's all I've got left to do on that. I really want to get this finished by this week. To be honest, this has had a lot more work in than it looks like, because I had to strip back the whole, well, actually, so it tells you there's decreases on it to do some shaping at the top where it fits in with the shoulder, right? No problem. With this pattern, it gets you to flick backwards and forwards between the pattern that I'm doing and the pattern for this one on the top. Now, when you get to the shaping at the top, the shaping on the top of my one is different than this one, because this one you put a hood on it, whereas this one you don't. So the shaping on the top is different. So I was following, so basically there's, words. I mean, put your teeth in. Didn't quite need to say. Right. So it tells you to flick to this pattern and do it up until where it says 2 asterisks, right? But when there's like a repeat of something, so like knit 1 pale 1 or knit 2 pale 2, knit, you know, that sort of thing, it'll have that, and then it has an asterisk on either end, and then goes repeat to end. So when I saw the 2 asterisks at the end, my head just skipped over it and thought of it like a pattern repeat. So I ended up doing the front of the left front entirely following the hoodie pattern, and it was when I was halfway up the right pattern that I went, hang on, realised that I was following the hoodie pattern on the shaping and not the pattern I'm doing, and I had to rip half of the fronts back. So yeah, but it's done, it's cute, really like the colours. I mean, let's get the strings out of the way. But look at those colours together, they're really lovely. And my sister, she's seen it, she really likes the colours. My mum and my dad really like the colours. It's I can't wait to get it done and like to just like put it on my little nephew. Oh, it's so exciting. So yeah, that's where we're up to with that, and that has been the final thing that I've knitted on this past few however many weeks. So yeah, that's what I've been working on. As I said, the priorities are finish that cardigan and get the new one cast on, start casting on some parts of that because I do have the arm for it. Get the heads and half the accessories on this done, and then also be started on these. So they are my goals at the moment. That's what I'm working towards, that's what I want to achieve, and we'll have to see in 2 weeks how I'm on with it. Hopefully like things are gonna, I always say this, I hope things are starting to settle down, but I don't even know anymore, because it's one of those things when it's like, you know, like, oh yeah, put all this fire here and then new fire starts. So yeah, keeps you on your toes, shall we say. Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna go. I hope you're having a wonderful day, staying safe, taking care, and yeah, let me know down in the comments below what you're working on. I always love I always love hearing what you've been working on. As you can see, my brain's not fully functioning at the moment because yeah, just hectic. So hopefully this makes a bit more sense once I've edited it. But yeah, anyway, I hope you're all having a wonderful day. I hope you're all staying safe, taking care, and I will speak to you all very, very soon. Bye.